I'm Klerksdorp, and this is 100 of the most unusual finds in the world. Klerksdorp spheres. The Klerksdorp spheres, discovered in South Africa, amaze people with their appearance, resembling cricket balls with lines along the equator. Their discovery in pyrophyllite deposits gave rise to the theory of alien intervention and ancient civilizations. In the 1980s, it was suggested that the spheres were created by a higher civilization. They became the subject not only of scientific research, but also of pseudo-scientific theories, some of which even attributed an extraterrestrial origin to them. Geologist Bruce Cairncross in 2006 proposed a scientific explanation for the origin of the spheres found in the geological layer known as the Dominion Group. The Klerksdorp spheres are concretions formed from minerals that differ from the surrounding rock. Their spherical shape and lines are due to natural processes of deposition and the layering of the rock. The curator of the Klerksdorp Museum explained the phenomenon of the spontaneous rotation of the sphere as a natural physical effect caused by surface irregularities and vibrations of the ground associating with gold mining. Thus, the Klerksdorp spheres have become a subject of both scientific and cultural interest, demonstrating the complexity of interpreting archaeological finds. Alphabet of a lost civilization. Spanish archaeologists from the University of Barcelona discovered tablets with drawings from the Bronze Age Tartessian civilization. Excavations were carried out at Casas del Turuñuelo in the southwest of the Iberian Peninsula, as reported by the Spanish National Research Council. Tartessus is an ancient civilization that flourished on the Iberian Peninsula in the 8th century BC, known for its complex writing system. By the 4th century BC, the Tartessians had disappeared. A tablet found dating back to the 6th-5th centuries BC contains 21 symbols of Paleo-Hispanic script and a scene of 3 warriors in battle. This discovery will help us learn. Scientists will further study Tartessian culture, clothing, and weapons. The study of such artifacts opens new avenues for understanding this mysterious civilization and its disappearance. The last meal. Researchers from the United Kingdom studied the mummy of a crocodile caught in ancient Egypt. In the stomach of the 2-meter predator, they found a fish with a hook, which turned out to be the cause of the reptile's death. The mummy, which is 2,300 years old, is kept in the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery. In the times of the pharaohs, animals were often mummified, especially crocodiles, which were considered sacred. Using X-ray and CT scanning, scientists virtually extracted the hook and recreated its copy in bronze. The scan showed that the crocodile had swallowed many small stones, gastroliths, during its life, which helped break down meat and regulate partial buoyancy. The last prey died before reaching the stomach and was not affected by digestive enzymes or gastroliths. Scientists believe that the crocodile was deliberately caught with live bait and then mummified as an offering to the god Sobek. The skeleton of a Neolithic farmer. A unique discovery was made right in the middle of a city in Poland. This is a story that will touch you because it touches the history of humanity itself. Słomniki, a small town in the Lesser Poland voivodeship, became the site of an amazing discovery. Imagine you're renovating the town square, and suddenly you find a complete human skeleton. But this is not just any skeleton. This skeleton is about 7,000 years old, and what's most remarkable is that the skeleton was found in perfect condition. And next to it, pieces of ancient clay pottery were discovered. Apparently, they belonged to a culture known as the linear pottery culture. You might be wondering how it was possible for the skeleton to remain in such excellent condition. He was buried in a very unique type of soil that helped preserve him. Scientists want to conduct a special test called radiocarbon analysis. This will help them find out exactly when this person lived. Right now, they don't even know who he was. But there are some theories. Scientists think that this person might have been a Neolithic farmer who crossed the Carpathians and ended up in Poland. But what's truly remarkable is that we still know so little about that ancient culture and their burial customs. That's why each such discovery is an opportunity to look into the past and learn more about those who lived before us. A mysterious accessory from the future. Archaeologists have discovered wall carvings depicting objects that resemble modern handbags. Some of these images are about 12,000 years old. The earliest ones were found in Turkey, in the ruins of the megalithic temple Göbekli Tepe, where strange images are engraved on the columns of the ancient temple. Similar motifs have been found in Mexico, Iraq, and South America, which raises many questions about the possible use of such objects by ancient civilizations. Although the images resemble handbags or clutches, experts believe that what is depicted on the ancient ruins are more likely baskets. Some believe that the concept of the handbag might have been invented by ancient civilizations. The first modern handbag appeared in 1841 in England, created by Samuel Parkinson. The problem is that the Göbekli Tepe temple was built in 9000 BC, and its builders were unlikely to know about such an accessory. Another ancient example of a handbag was found in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, written about 5,000 years ago, where gods are holding a small square object symbolizing prosperity. Archaeologists have indeed found remnants of baskets and tool bags used by the ancient Egyptians, but they still cannot say for sure what is depicted in the hieroglyphs. Similar discoveries were made in Iraq, among the ruins of a Syrian palace built between 883 and 859 BC, where a winged jinn is depicted holding an object that looks like a handbag. Historian David Meander believes that these figures, called Apkallu, were minor deities who carried buckets for water and sacred date palms, not handbags. Ancient buckets similar to the engravings have indeed been found in Iraq. Similar motifs have also been found in Mexico, among the Toltec ruins, where giant statues hold objects resembling handbags. These statues were created around 750 AD. The sarcophagus of Lord Pakal. Lord Pakal, also known as Pakal the Great, was the ruler of the city of Palenque in the Maya civilization. He ruled from 615 to 683 AD and is known for his significant contributions to the development of the city and its culture. Pakal the Great left behind many architectural achievements, including the Temple of the Inscriptions, where his sarcophagus was discovered. The lid of Lord Pakal's sarcophagus is decorated with intricate images that have sparked many interpretations and debates. It depicts Pakal sitting in an unusual pose, surrounded by symbols and hieroglyphs. His position and surroundings have given rise to various interpretations, including theories about contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Eric von Daniken, a proponent of the ancient astronaut theory, interprets the image on the sarcophagus lid as evidence of the Maya's contact with aliens. He claims that Pakal is depicted in the position of a spaceship pilot, with his hands, feet, and back supposedly operating some kind of device. According to Daniken, this suggests that Pakal could have been connected to extraterrestrial technologies, but archaeologists and historians propose an alternative explanation. They believe that the image on the sarcophagus symbolizes Pakal's journey to the afterlife and his connection with the Maya deities. In their opinion, Pakal's pose represents him as a mediator between the earthly world and the spirit world, not as a pilot of a spaceship. Could Lord Pakal really have been an alien? This hypothesis remains highly controversial and lacks scientific evidence. Despite the interesting interpretations proposed by Daniken, most scientists tend to consider these theories as fantastical and not based on real data. Other artifacts found in Palenque and other Maya cities support traditional interpretations. For example, numerous inscriptions and images depict scenes from Maya life, their religious rituals, and mythological beliefs. These findings confirm that Pakal and his sarcophagus were part of the Maya cultural and religious context, not evidence of extraterrestrial contact. The Hjortspring boat was found in the Hjortspring bog in Denmark. It is the oldest plank-built vessel in northern Europe, dating back about 2,300 years. The boat is almost 20 meters long, it weighs 530 kilograms, and could carry 24 people with weapons and equipment. The planks of the boat were made of linden, the oars were made of maple, and there were curved extensions at each end. This boat is an outstanding example of ancient shipbuilding, demonstrating the high level of craftsmanship and engineering knowledge of that time. Linden was chosen for its lightness and strength, which made the boat fast and maneuverable, and maple for the oars because of its hardness and durability. An ancient structure in the Black Sea. Off the coast of Abkhazia, scientists from an international underwater archaeological expedition discovered important archaeological finds. With the help of special equipment and divers, they explored depths from 1 to 60 meters in the waters near the cities of Gudauda and Sukhum. The most significant discovery was the remains of a medieval structure in the Sukhum Bay at the mouth of the Besledka River, where the ancient city of Dioscuria is believed to have been located. In this area, where an ancient stele had previously been found, archaeologists discovered a semicircular masonry structure, likely a tower with attached walls. It is made of large pebbles with a limestone mortar. There is pottery present in the masonry. Due to the large amount of sand and silt in the water, it was difficult to photograph the object, so its detailed examination is planned for 2024-2025. In the waters near the city of Gudauda, archaeologists found many vessels from the ancient and medieval periods, including an amphora at a depth of 48 to 50 meters. Luristan bronzes. Luristan bronzes are a collection of bronze artifacts originating from the province of Luristan in western Iran. These items date back to the period between the 12th and 6th centuries BC and are among the most exquisite examples of ancient metallurgy and art. Most Luristan bronzes are small figurines, weapons, jewelry, and vessels. Their designs often feature geometric motifs and depictions of animals, especially goats and other horned creatures. Some of these items may have been used for religious or ritual purposes, while others were possibly everyday objects. Luristan bronzes are a reflection of the culture of the peoples who lived in the territory of modern-day Iran during the first millennium BC. Their uniqueness lies in their quality and style, which sets them apart from other bronze objects of that time. The underground chamber beneath the pyramids. Japanese and Egyptian scientists conducted a study of the giant necropolis in Giza. Their attention was drawn to a site in the Western Cemetery. Members of the ruling family and high-ranking officials were buried here. The burials were in tombs with flat roofs, arranged in a row. There is an open area between them that had not been studied before. Japanese and Egyptian scientists studied it using ground-penetrating radar and electrical tomography, which allowed them to look deep underground without excavating. The scan showed that at a depth of 0.5 meter to 2 meters, there is an L-shaped structure about 10 by 10 meters in size. The authors of the study believe that this is not a natural formation, but an artificial one, due to its regular shape and location. The researchers suggest that this structure may be part of a deeper structure. At a depth of 5 to 10 meters, the instruments also detected an anomaly, indicating heterogeneity of the rock. This could be another tomb or a chamber with artifacts. A metal door inside the rock. Since the beginning of the 21st century, numerous stories and rumors have surrounded the construction of the Baikal-Amur main line in Russia, some of which surprisingly have a real basis. During the active construction, workers encountered anomalies and paranormal phenomena, causing many to call the railway haunted. Among these stories, special attention is given to tales about the ghost of the railway, a train passing by without a sound, witnessed by both the builders and local residents. According to scientists, the origin of these stories may be connected to events in the 1940s, when during an uprising, prisoners hijacked a steam locomotive in an attempt to escape. Mysteries have also surrounded the BAM tunnels, particularly the Severomoisky Tunnel, whose construction lasted more than 25 years due to unexpected surprises that presented new challenges for the builders. The mysteries associated with these structures, including the story of the white shaman who foretells disasters, only add to the aura of mystique surrounding the railway. At every step, the builders faced new obstacles that required immediate solutions. One of the most intriguing moments was the discovery of a metal door in one of the tunnel sections after an underground spring broke through, which led to the deaths of 30 people. The door, which became a real mystery, remained an unsolved mystery, just like the strange sounds coming from underground that resembled knocking. Attempts to explain these phenomena range from theories about high concentrations of radon gas, which can cause auditory hallucinations, to stories about evil forces dwelling in the depths of the tunnel. Adding further intrigue is the Devil's Bridge, part of the same railway line, renowned for its mysteries and myths. Despite all the technical and mystical challenges, the Severomersky and Severomoisky tunnels and the Devil's Bridge remain the most important structures of the BAM, and the stories associated with them continue to captivate the minds of both experts and travelers. Answers to many questions have yet to be found, and each new mystery only deepens the enigma of these places. Ancient inscriptions of pharaohs in the Nile. Diver archaeologists explored algae-covered rock formations at the bottom of the murky waters of the Nile in Egypt. At first glance, the stones seemed unremarkable, but upon closer inspection, scientists discovered several inscriptions related to ancient pharaohs. A joint team of Egyptian and French archaeologists decided to explore the ruins of the reservoir in Aswan. Under a layer of algae, they found several carvings that are at least 2,300 years old. The images ranged from drawings of ancient Egyptian pharaohs to hieroglyphs. In the photo, you can see several well-preserved carved figures. The shapes are blurred by water and are quite difficult to distinguish. One set of inscriptions looks like a row of mannequin heads above two objects resembling tombstones. These ancient inscriptions are still being studied. Archaeologists believe that these findings may help us better understand how ancient kings ruled in those distant times. A mystical mystery. I will tell you about an amazing geological mystery that happened on Anjan Island. Anjan is a volcanic island that appeared when underwater tectonic plates shifted and magma burst out. When it cooled, basalt was formed. That is what our island is made of. But something very strange is happening on Anjan. What do you think you can find on a volcanic island? Usually, you won't find quartz or quartzite there. This is a sedimentary rock, similar to sandstone, which forms from quartz sand in river deltas. On a basalt island like Anjan, there is no quartz, and it's too young for there to be a river delta. But something amazing is happening. Quartzite is continuously being found on the island, and the amount is simply staggering. Geologists discovered these strange stones more than 100 years ago. In 1900, scientists noticed unusual rocks that looked like quartzite, but back then the description was too sketchy. In 1969, they discovered a large sandstone, which turned out to be quartzite. History repeated itself in 2017, when a French geologist discovered another, even larger quartzite deposit. A few years later, Cornelia Klass from Columbia University decided to investigate this mystery. The most interesting thing is that the local residents had known about these stones for a long time. They had been using them for sharpening their knives for decades. When the scientists conducted their research, the results were astonishing. The quartzite literally occupied half of the mountain. The mystery still hasn't been solved. As scientists suggest, a piece of quartzite from the continental crust could have somehow ended up in the ocean and risen 4,000 meters during a volcanic eruption. But there are no traces of quartzite on the island's basalt rocks. As Klass says, it's like seeing a magician who shouldn't be there. In the future, scientists hope to solve this mystery by studying the age of the quartzite. This will help to understand when and how it ended up on the volcanic island. Tarim mummies. In the Tarim Desert, located in the western part of China, perfectly preserved mummies have been discovered, which are more than 4,000 years old. These mummies are notable for their preservation due to the region's dry climate. Chinese archaeologists can't believe it, since they have Caucasoid features, which raises many questions about the migrations and cultural exchanges of ancient peoples. Studies have shown that the mummies have high cheekbones, deep eye sockets, and light hair, which is unusual for the population of this region. These findings cast doubt on the previously existing theory that the Tarim Basin was inhabited exclusively by Asian peoples. However, analyses have confirmed the mixed origin of these people, indicating complex migration routes connecting east and west as far back as ancient times. The mummies were found in various burial sites, many of which contain lavish grave goods, including textiles, weapons, and household items. The mummies of the Tarim Desert continue to be studied by scientists from all over the world, revealing more and more aspects of ancient history. They are an archaeological phenomenon. The mermaid from India. Few have heard of the archaeological complex Chandraketu Gar in India, which is located about 35 kilometers from Calcutta. Chandraketu Gar was a thriving port city involved in international trade, where people lived from 400 BC to 1250 AD. Today, only the ruins of a brick Buddhist temple from the 10th century remain at this site. Interest in Chandraketu Gar arose due to the many terracotta artifacts dating back to the Shunga period, that is, the 2nd and 1st centuries BC. Most of them were stolen or taken abroad. Only a few fragments have been preserved in Indian museums. Although the site was discovered in 1906, the Archaeological Survey of India, under British control, did not conduct any excavations here. Many of the stolen items are now in museums around the world, such as the Metropolitan. 2 terracotta plaques depict a mermaid, which is quite a rare image for Indian culture. On one, the mermaid is swimming by a lake, holding something that resembles a mirror or a flower. People on the shore stare at her in awe. The great chief has come in a chariot to see this creature. On the other plaque, fishermen have caught the mermaid in a net. People wave to her, and she waves back to them, showing no fear. Looking at these reliefs, I wondered, could they be a reflection of ancient legends or real events that took place in Chandraketu Gar 2,200 years ago? Perhaps mermaids were not a product of imagination, but real sea creatures in ancient times. Write in the comments below the video whether you believe in the existence of mermaids or something similar, because after all, the depths of the seas and oceans remain unexplored to this day. Fragments of alien technology. Harvard University professor Avi Loeb suggests that he found particles of extraterrestrial technology in a meteorite that fell in 2014 off the coast of Papua New Guinea. These fragments were brought to Harvard for research, and the U.S. Space Force Command confirmed with 99.999% certainty that the material came from another solar system. Loeb and his team went to the meteorite impact site on the ship Silver Star. They discovered 10 spherules, metallic balls colored gold, blue, and brown, some of which resembled miniature Earths. Analysis showed that the spherules contained 84% iron, 8% silicon, 4% magnesium, and 2% titanium. Loeb emphasized that these spherules are distinct from any space rocks ever recorded by NASA, and they were moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per second, which is faster than 95% of all stars near the Sun. These results suggest the possible artificial nature of the spherules, which could provide unique insight into materials beyond our solar system. The researchers suggest that the spherules may be part of a larger discovery, which they plan to investigate in future expeditions. The deepest and oldest tunnel. In China, they want to reach rocks from the Cretaceous period, which are 140 million years old. The task is ambitious. They plan to cut through 10 layers of Earth and reach a depth of 11,000 meters, which will be a national record. Work started in May of this year, while in Russia they want to resume work on the Kola Superdeep borehole. China is already actively drilling. Let me remind you that although the Soviet Kola borehole project was never completed, it made an important scientific discovery and planned to drill more than 15,000 meters deep. Work on the Kola Peninsula began in 1970 and continued for 2 decades. At a depth of 7 kilometers, the team had to face difficulties. Layered rocks would get stuck in the equipment. Despite this, they managed to reach the final depth of 12,226 meters. But in 1990, the project had to be shut down due to an unknown explosion. Now China is striving to continue studying the Earth's interior and plans to use its new borehole to study earthquakes and predict their occurrence. Another goal of the project is to gain a deeper understanding of the Earth's internal structure and its evolution. This opens up new opportunities for developing technologies and solutions that can be applied in various industries. Let's hope that China, with its modern technologies, will be able to find something interesting for the world of archaeology as well. A stone more valuable than gold. In 2015, in Australia's Maryborough Park, David Hull found a reddish-brown stone, thinking it was gold. He tried to break it with a sledgehammer and drill a hole in it, but he couldn't. 3 years later, he took it to the Melbourne Museum. Geologists Henry and Birch identified it as a meteorite that was 4.6 billion years old. They were impressed by its appearance and weight. The meteorite turned out to be an ordinary H5 chondrite, containing crystals and a lot of iron. The researchers noted that such meteorites help study space by indicating the age and composition of the solar system. Some even contain stardust older than the meteorites themselves. Radiocarbon analysis showed that the meteorite landed on Earth about 100,000 years ago. Why do you think meteorites are so rarely found on Earth, despite their abundance in space? Extremely rare coin. Archaeologists from the Hebrew University discovered the remains of a building from the Second Temple period, which was destroyed in 70 AD in the Ophel area of Jerusalem. Numerous Jewish coins from the time of the Great Revolt were found at the site, including a rare silver coin with a value of half a shekel, dated approximately to the year 6970 AD. The Great Revolt was a response to increased religious pressure and high taxes from Rome, which led to a mass uprising of the Jewish population. The rebels captured the Roman garrison, forcing the pro-Roman king Herod Agrippa II to leave the city. During the Great Revolt, the Jews minted coins featuring a cup and inscriptions in ancient Hebrew. The minting of silver coins was a political statement and a symbol of the desire for national liberation from Roman rule. Half-shekel coins were used to pay the annual temple tax. Ritual table in Tavatepe in Azerbaijan, a team of Italian and Azerbaijani archaeologists discovered a ritual table that is 3,500 years old in the ancient settlement of Tavatepe. This place is located near the borders of Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan. During the excavations, a round adobe structure was found. The structure includes a kitchen area and a ritual table. Between 1500 and 750 BC, during the Late Bronze and Early Iron Ages, Tavatepe was used as a resting place before traveling through the mountains. Archaeologists also found a ritual table with 8 recesses and many ceramic containers, bowls, vessels made of black-fired ceramics, and long flat stones for mixing food. In the corner of the kitchen, a thick layer of ash and clay tokens with fingerprints have been preserved, which may have served as food ration tokens. At the entrance, there were originally wooden columns, and a thatched roof covered the entire complex, which was about 15 meters in diameter. Outside, animal bones and discarded ceramic dishes were found. Human figurines placed in sacrificial pits, and the fact that the structure was sealed together with all the dishes indicate its ceremonial nature. 12 painted tombs of Genghis Khan's grandson. Imagine that you are brave archaeologists, and you have just been lucky enough to make an amazing discovery in the eastern part of China, in Shandong province. Your team has discovered as many as 12 ancient tombs, decorated with mind-blowing paintings and carvings. They are about 700 years old. These tombs are a real treasure of the Yuan dynasty, founded by the Mongol Khan Kublai, who was the grandson of the great conqueror Genghis Khan. It is important to note that this discovery has become one of the most significant for this part of China. According to an inscription found in the burial complex, the tombs belonged to the Guo family. But the most amazing thing was discovered by archaeologists in one of the tombs, where there were 2 burial chambers. There they found magnificent paintings and carved brick murals. These patterns were carved by hand, using chisels and wooden mallets. To this day, you can see herons and tree branches on these frescoes, symbols of good luck in Chinese culture. But that's not all. More than 60 items were found in the tombs, including clay and porcelain dishes, bronze mirrors, copper coins, and other valuable artifacts. This provides new information about the culture and porcelain production during the Yuan dynasty. The oldest religion. In Botswana, one of the southern African countries, archaeologists came across amazing traces of the earliest known ritual worship, dating back to about 70,000 years ago, which is the earliest evidence of religious rituals by Homo sapiens. This discovery, made by Professor Sheila Colson from the University of Oslo, overturns the traditional view of the history of religion and culture. In the Kalahari Desert lies Sodilo Hill, a place surrounded by the myths of the San people. It was here, in a small cave, that a huge stone shaped like a python was found. Hundreds of notches were discovered on it, imitating the skin of a snake. Excavations near the Python stone revealed findings that amazed scientists. 13,000 stone-working tools and stone spearheads brought here from afar, possibly as offerings. These findings indicate the complex ritual practices of ancient people. Of particular interest is a small hollow behind the stone, where scientists believe a shaman could have been during rituals, creating the illusion that the voice was coming directly from the python itself. Only 2 cave paintings were found in the center of the cave, an elephant and a giraffe, which also have symbolic meaning connected to local myths. The python, revered among the San people, is associated with the origin of humanity and is considered the creator of ancient riverbeds, winding in search of water. Thus, archaeologists may have found the very first references to religion. 6,000-year-old human DNA. In the city of Wuxi, China, archaeologists discovered the DNA of a person who lived here 6,000 years ago. These molecules were found in 2 tombs associated with the Miazabin culture of the Middle Neolithic era. Until now, information about the inhabitants of this region was limited, but thanks to these new discoveries, it has become known that the first people settled in Wuxi at least 6,000 years ago. During the research that began in April 2022, more than 100 traces of earliest human activity were found, including 2 tombs with DNA. A cemetery for the poor. Have you ever heard about mysterious underground discoveries accidentally found by construction workers? So right under the streets of the ancient city of Lübeck, known for its charitable traditions, a cemetery was discovered, and not an ordinary one. This city of the dead was used for more than 200 years. This cemetery belonged to a shelter that helped those in need. In the Middle Ages, when knights and castles existed, the people of Lübeck cared for the poor, sick, and homeless. And although historians knew about the existence of this cemetery, its exact location remained a mystery until midday. The researchers were shocked to learn how many people found their final resting place here. The remains of 200 people, including children, have already been unearthed, and this is just the beginning. Many of those buried here were not just ordinary townspeople. Among them were city officials, teachers, and doctors. Some of them were even buried in expensive coffins. One of the most intriguing discoveries is the remains of a person with a bullet hole in the skull. The discovery of 16 hands. Recently, archaeologists discovered something shocking in the city of Avaris. 16 human hands buried in 4 pits near the palace. And you know what's the strangest part? All of these hands are right hands, and they all belonged to rather large people. These hands are traces of an ancient custom described in Egyptian texts. Soldiers would cut off the right hand of an enemy and exchange it for gold. By cutting off the right hand, soldiers not only made it easier to count defeated enemies, but also symbolically took away their strength. Whom these hands belong to remains a mystery. These could have been the hands of Egyptians, or those whom the Hyksos fought against. Such a cruel custom existed among both the Hyksos and the Egyptians. No one knows who started it first, but cruel treatment of prisoners was a common thing in ancient Egypt. A unique cart in Russia. Imagine a vehicle handmade from wood. Instead of wheels, massive wooden discs, and instead of a body, a lattice made of interwoven twigs. Interestingly, archaeologists found such a cart in the Rostov region. It was buried in the grave of a 50-year-old man who lived in the 23rd century BC. You might ask, how could such an ancient cart have survived? Well, we were lucky here. The coolest part of the cart, the frame that is, the running gear, was preserved quite well. And you know what's interesting? The craftsmen of that time very carefully selected the wood for each part. For example, the frame was made of maple, and the wheels were made of oak. Super in-depth research even showed that all the trees were local. This means the chariot was made right here. Our ancestors cut down trees in the nearby forest and used them to build their vehicle. The coolest thing about this story is that the ancient inhabitants of this area knew how to work with wood, weave with twigs, and they did all this using simple bronze tools. So, my friends, the ancient nomads weren't quite as savage as we might have imagined. They skillfully used all available resources and created truly unique things. A new species of dinosaur in Siberia. In the Kemerovo region, Russian scientists discovered a dinosaur skeleton that turned out to be an unknown early species. It was named Kia cursor longipes, which means long-toothed runner from the Kia River. The fossilized remains were found after a huge rock fell from a rocky cliff. Fossilized bones were sticking out of the piece of rock. The skeleton was found in the territory of the Great Siberian Refugium, where Jurassic period relics have been preserved. Stem salamanders, primitive crocodiles, and docodonts, primitive mammals. The fossils were studied using photography, computed tomography, and under a microscope. It turned out that the dinosaur lived in Siberia from 113 to 121 million years ago. The skeleton was partially preserved. They identified ribs, vertebrae, a humerus, both feet and shins. The discovered specimen was classified as a ceratosaur, a group of running dinosaurs with two small legs. This is the first such find from the Cretaceous period in Asia. Until now, it was believed that ceratosaurs became extinct in this part of the world 40 million years earlier. The unique proportions of its hind limbs with an elongated third toe allowed it to run better. Zoologists determined that the dinosaur grew up to 2.5 meters in length and was an adult animal, but no older than 3 years. Portal to the underworld. Last year, a unique artifact, a portal to the underworld, was returned to Mexico after being stolen and taken to the United States in the 1960s. Recently, scientists completed the restoration and returned it to its original location in central Mexico. This monument, created by the Olmec civilization, was long considered a gateway to the other world. In the 1960s, it was stolen from Chalcatzingo, a famous Olmec archaeological site, where it depicted a mythical cat with parted jaws, symbolizing the entrance to the spiritual world. The monument dates back to the pre-classic period, created between 800 and 400 BCE. The thieves smashed the artifact with hammers to make it easier to transport, but they did not damage its main features. It was smuggled into the United States, where it ended up on the illegal antiquities market. In 1968, the artifact ended up in the New York Museum under the name Earth Monster. Archaeologist David Grove recognized the Olmec origin of the monument and noted its similarity to other sculptures in Chalcatzingo, especially the eyes shaped like the Olmec cross and the bromeliad flowers near the mouth. The oldest rice field. Archaeologists in eastern China, in Zhejiang province, discovered ancient rice fields that are about 5,300 to 5,500 years old. The discovery was made in Yuyao, a county-level city of Ningbo. The total excavation area is about 1,000 square meters. On the field, archaeologists found 3 embankments, a ridge, and 9 pits, as well as remains of rice, weeds, an irrigation and drainage system, and a path that is believed to connect the field with a nearby settlement. Experts attribute the discovery to the late period of the Himudu Neolithic culture. They believe that this discovery will help to better understand the rice field system of that time and will provide important material for studying the history of rice cultivation in this region. UFO on the cover of an 18th century book. The discovery of a UFO image on the cover of a book by Johann Funk, published in 1716, sparked widespread debate among ufologists. This image, depicting a classic flying saucer surrounded by bright lightning, is seen by many as evidence that alien visitors came to Earth as far back as 300 years ago. Despite disagreements about whether alien visits actually occurred in the 1700s, the discovery confirms that people of that time were also interested in the idea of extraterrestrial civilizations. As always, there are 2 kinds of people. Some believe in UFOs, while others are skeptical of such ideas. Ufologists are wondering about the technological development of the aliens. If we assume that they really visited Earth in the 18th century, then how did their technology remain unchanged for 3 centuries? This refers to the shape of the alien spacecraft. 5 mummies in Peru. In Peru, archaeologists made an amazing discovery. 5 mummies that are over 1,000 years old and an ancient staircase estimated to be 5,500 years old. These findings were discovered near the Rimac River in the Lima province at the La Florida Archaeological Site. It is believed that among the mummies, there are 4 children and 1 adult. The mummies are planned to be removed from the excavation site by the end of 2023 for more detailed study. Archaeologists intend to analyze the textiles found in the burial bundles along with the mummies. No less interesting is the discovery of an ancient staircase that is 5,500 years old. This artifact is a valuable testament to the ancient engineering and architecture of those times. The tomb of Kiva, the commander of mercenaries. We are heading to the necropolis of Abu Sir near Cairo. The tomb we are going to study dates back to the early 5th century BC and is quite unusual. This is a shaft-type tomb. Here is the main character of today's video, Okhybra Maronite. This guy, apparently, was the commander of mercenaries and seems to have died suddenly since his tomb was not fully completed. The amazing double sarcophagus found in the depths of this shaft is oriented from east to west. The outer sarcophagus is made of massive blocks of white limestone, while the inner one is made of basalt, covered with ancient spells from the Book of the Dead to help the deceased make their way to the afterlife. Unfortunately, the tomb was looted back in ancient times, and all that archaeologists managed to find were 2 amulets, a heart scarab and a headrest for the mummy. The ancient Egyptians believed they helped the deceased spirit keep a clear mind in the afterlife. Interestingly, some burial items that remained after the looting were also found: faience figurines, vessels for incense, and fragments of the Book of the Dead. So friends, it seems that Okhybra Maronite was quite an important person. A sunken ship with lead ingots. About 2,000 years ago, a Roman ship sank in the Mediterranean Sea with a valuable cargo, among which were massive lead ingots. The heaviest of them weighs 68 kilograms, which is about 205 Roman pounds, according to the University of Alicante. The markings on the ingot indicate that it belonged to a Roman emperor, possibly Nero. In addition, there were about 3,000 jars of fish sauce on board the ship. This sauce, known as garum, was popular in Roman cuisine and was widely used as a seasoning. The length of the ship was about 32 meters, and at the time of sinking, it was probably traveling from Cadiz to Rome. The ship was not only carrying valuable metals, but also food products important for the Roman diet. The study of the sunken ship provides a unique opportunity to explore the shipbuilding technologies and trading methods of the ancient Romans. A stone with mysterious markings. A geography teacher named Graham Sr. was clearing the overgrown garden at his home in Coventry when he came across a stone with mysterious carvings. Intrigued by the discovery, he sent photos to a local archaeologist. Graham was shocked to learn that the markings on the stone were made more than 1,600 years ago, and that the artifact was worthy of being displayed in a museum. The rectangular sandstone slab was covered with inscriptions made in the Ogham alphabet, which was used in the early Middle Ages mainly for writing in the Irish language. Before the advent of parchment manuscripts, the Irish used the Ogham system, which consisted of parallel lines carved into stone or wood. Rare examples of such stones provide important information about early Irish language and culture. Catherine Forsyth, a professor of Celtic studies at the University of Glasgow, confirmed that this is Ogham script dating from around the 4th to 6th centuries. The stone, measuring 11 centimeters in length and weighing 139 grams, has inscriptions on 3 of its 4 sides. Its purpose remains a mystery, but scholars suggest that it could have been a portable commemorative item. The inscription on the stone consists of 2 parts. The first part contains the name of a person, Male Damkyle. The second part is less clear and may be an indication of a location, but its exact meaning remains unknown. The world's greatest mystery. Off the coast of the Japanese island of Yonaguni, underwater ruins of an ancient city have been discovered, estimated to be 10,000 years old. This complex, resembling a pyramid, a castle, temples, an arch, and a stadium, is connected by roads. In 2007, marine biologist Masaki Kimura described the main structure as a monolithic stepped pyramid 25 meters high. He suggested that the structures were built by the Jomon people, who lived on these islands 14,000 years ago. However, Professor Robert Schoch from Boston University expressed the opinion that the Yonaguni Monument is a natural geological formation. It has been 37 years since the Japanese Atlantis was first discovered in 1986, but its origin is still shrouded in mystery. Kimura proposed the theory that it was part of the continent of Mu, lost due to a catastrophe. He also found stone images, including an underwater sphinx. Seismologist Toru Auchi from Kobe University supported Kimura's hypothesis, rejecting suggestions that the structures were of natural origin. However, Professor Schoch maintains his position, stating that the structure is not man-made, and its features are the result of natural processes. So the depths of the sea near Yonaguni continue to conceal the mystery of these amazing structures and remain the subject of debate and research among scientists.
Рецепт из могилы.
Czech scientists have recreated Celtic beer based on research of pollen from an ancient Celtic burial site in Moravia. Beer has deep roots, with the earliest traces going back to the Middle East, where breweries appeared about 5,500 years ago. However, its full history still remains a mystery. Excavations carried out in 2020 and 2021 opened new horizons in understanding ancient cultures, revealing the lives and traditions of pre-Celtic peoples. Modern pollen analyses found at this site have revealed traces of millet and other grasses that were used by the Celts to make beer. Scientists suggest that some ingredients, such as clover, could have served as sweeteners for the drink, indicating complex taste preferences and technologies of ancient times. The beer created, Tory Ale, has unique flavor qualities different from modern varieties, highlighting the role of various herbs and spices in its production. The absence of hops is an interesting aspect of the beer's flavor profile, making it similar to medieval recipes. Beer, being one of humanity's oldest beverages, continues to connect people across cultures and centuries. Ancient stone circles in Saudi Arabia. Archaeologists in Saudi Arabia have excavated 8 ancient stone circles that served as dwellings for people more than 7,000 years ago. About 345 such structures have been identified through aerial photography in the lava field of Harad Uwairid near the city of Al-Ula in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. The stone circles have a diameter ranging from 4 to 8 meters and include at least one standing stone in the center. During the excavations, archaeologists discovered numerous stone tools made of basalt. From just 5 circles, almost 225 kilograms of stone tools or their fragments were recovered. Bones of sheep, goats, and cows were also found. Among the finds were various seashells from the Red Sea, located about 120 kilometers to the west. The round shape of houses was a global phenomenon in early architecture, and rectangular houses appeared later in the Neolithic period. The architecture of standing stone circles in Saudi Arabia is similar to structures found in Jordan, which date to about 500 years earlier. The people who built these structures also raised sheep, goats, and cattle. The Iron Man Buddha. This is an amazing discovery that has shocked scientists all over the world. This statue, about 24 centimeters tall and weighing 10 kilograms, was made from a fragment of a meteorite. The artifact depicts the Buddhist god Vaisravana, who symbolizes protection and wealth. The origin of the statue has been carefully studied by researchers. According to the analysis, the material used to create it was taken from the Chinga meteorite, which fell on the border of Mongolia and Siberia about 15,000 years ago. It is believed that the statue was created in the 11th century AD in Tibet. It's amazing how ancient craftsmen, without even knowing about the cosmic origin of the material, were able to skillfully process it and turn it into a work of art. In 1938, Ernst Schaefer's expedition, which was financed by Nazi Germany, discovered the statue in Tibet and brought it to Germany. Subsequently, its origin and material remained the subject of debate and mystery for a long time, until recent scientific research revealed its amazing history. Today, the Iron Man is not only a majestic work of art, but also a testament to the unique combination of nature and human craftsmanship. Only 23 exist worldwide. Archaeologists in Turkey have found unique artifacts about 800 years old in Hasan Cave, one of the oldest settlements in Batman. Among them are a rare healing bowl and 2 archery rings. The zagirs are made of agate and bone. The healing bowl, one of only 23 of its kind in the world, was used in the medieval Islamic world for protection against animal bites, such as those from dogs, snakes, and scorpions. It is made of bronze, decorated with talismans, seals, and verses. This reflects the folk medicine practices of that time. Ziggurats, archery rings, protected the fingers from the bowstring. One of them was found near a shrine, which gives it special significance. These artifacts have now been transferred to the Hasan Cave Museum and serve as important evidence of ancient practices and beliefs, shedding light on the cultural features of the Islamic world related to folk medicine and archery. A shocking discovery by miners. Sometimes miners come across unusual artifacts that can surprise even archaeologists. In 2008, an unusual discovery was made at a depth of 900 meters in the Zapadnaya mine in Donetsk, Rostov region. In sandstones dating back to the Carboniferous period, 360 to 300 million years ago, a wheel imprint was found. The mining supervisor Kasatkin, who worked in the mine, shared photographs of the find. According to him, the mines are classified as dangerous due to the risk of sudden coal and gas emissions, and the management prohibited the investigation of the site and ordered the work to be sped up. As a result, another smaller print that was discovered later was not extracted for study. Kasatkin claimed that in the mine, which was closed in 2009 and flooded, other amazing discoveries were also found, including prints of giant snakes and possibly winged lizards. He also mentioned other unusual finds in coal mines around the world, including a wall made of stone blocks and hieroglyphs. These stories, despite their fantastical nature, make us wonder about the possibility of ancient civilizations that we still don't know about. Such discoveries can open new horizons for archaeology and history, although official science often ignores this kind of evidence, considering it miners' tall tales. What do you think? Could these mysterious findings really be evidence of ancient civilizations, Or are they just coincidences? Write your opinion in the comments. The tunnel under the Sphinx. We are setting out in search of the lost Library of Ages, the Hall of Records, which is believed to be hidden right beneath the Great Sphinx in Egypt. The American medium Edgar Cayce and other mystery enthusiasts are convinced of its existence. In the labyrinth beneath the paws of the Sphinx, in the mysterious Hall of Records, knowledge of astronomy, alchemy, medicine, and even magic is hidden. Researchers are still not sure whether they are real or not. The secrets of the pharaohs, encrypted in the hieroglyphs in the Pyramid of Teti, indicate that knowledge really was passed from hand to hand. These were like funeral gifts. But where is the library where all this knowledge is kept? Edgar Cayce, while in a trance, spoke about a hall of records where the knowledge of ancient cultures is hidden. He claimed that the passage to the hall begins at the right front paw of the Sphinx, but it has never been found. The most mysterious people of Europe. Archaeologists have discovered an altar from the Roman era in a monastery on Mount Ariandi in northern Spain. It is dedicated to the mysterious deity La Lorique. The find is dated to the 1st century AD and is important for studying the religious practices of the Vascones, one of the most mysterious peoples of Europe. This altar is one of 4 known altars to La Lorique, but the only one found during excavations. The artifact was discovered at the bottom of a well in the monastery of Donis Dunastebe. There is an inscription on the altar. Valeria Vitella fulfills her vow to La Lorique freely and deservedly. Mount Ariandi, inhabited since Roman times, is located in the valley of the Gulina River, not far from Pamplona. Its strategic location has made this place important throughout history, as evidenced by the remains of Roman infrastructure and a later monastery dedicated to Saint Stephen. Little is known about La Lorique, and worship of this deity is evidenced by only 3 other altars. The new discovery expands the known geographical spread of the cult of La Lorique. A ball of yarn. During excavations of an ancient Bronze Age settlement in England, known as the British Pompeii, 3 balls of yarn, 3,000 years old, were found. They were discovered in underground houses built on the marshy terrain. One of the balls was charred, which raises the question of how it could withstand fire without being damaged. The yarn's composition remains undetermined because the artifacts are too fragile. The lack of information about the composition of the yarn causes debates among scientists, especially when it comes to the materials, wool or plant fibers. It is assumed that the discovered balls could have been made from flax or nettle. All this suggests that the history of knitting and the use of textile materials in ancient times remains little studied and full of mysteries. Archaeologists are still trying to determine the significance of these wooden textile items, many of which may have been lost or damaged as a result of the fire that destroyed the settlement. This makes the task of reconstructing the historical context even more difficult. Ancient settlement complex. With the help of modern technology, archaeologists from University College Dublin, together with their Serbian and Slavic colleagues, have made a significant discovery. They have discovered numerous previously unknown Bronze Age settlements in the southern part of the Carpathian Basin near Serbia. Analysis of satellite images and aerial photography made it possible to reconstruct the ancient landscape and discover a network of megaforts, huge prehistoric structures. These megaforts were previously known from examples such as Gradishta and Zahosh, Chanat Palota, Santana, and Karneshti and Arkuri, which were previously considered isolated. However, new research has shown that they actually form a complex network. At their peak, tens of thousands of people could have lived here. These sites, located along the Tisa River, were discovered in an area where almost all settlements are within 5 kilometers of each other. Scientists believe that local communities interacted peacefully with each other and were important centers in Europe. During the era of the Mycenaeans, Hittites, and New Kingdom Egyptians, the oldest Neanderthal drawings. In the La Roche-Cotard cave in France, 57,000 years ago, Neanderthals created true art. Inside the cave, amazing drawings were found, made simply with fingers. Dots, lines, spots. However you interpret them, this is the art of ancient people. Researchers from the University of Tours, led by Jean-Claude Marquet, recreated these drawings in 3D and analyzed the layers of the cave. But the most interesting thing is the fact that this cave was sealed about 57,000 years ago. And that means modern humans had not yet settled in this area. Thus, only Neanderthals could have been the authors of these drawings, which may be as old as 70 to 75,000 years. Today, we know much more about Neanderthals and their complex culture. These drawings are real proof that they were far from as primitive as we used to think. African art. Africa's rock art is a priceless heritage that highlights the richness and diversity of the continent's cultures. From the sand drawings in southern Africa to the mysterious images of Tassili in North Africa, rock art reflects a history that spans thousands of years. The Sahara contains some of the oldest examples, dating back to the end of the last ice age, about 12,000 years ago. Images of antelopes, giraffes, and other animals testify to the rich wildlife of that time. Mysterious symbols and figures that combine features of animals and humans continue to intrigue scientists. In Central Africa, in the area inhabited by the Pygmies, geometric rock art predominates, testifying to the ancient culture of these peoples. In East Africa, in Tanzania, rock art depicting animals and people resembles the traditions of the San, but has its own unique features. To the south, beyond the Zambezi River, lies the land of the San, where art dates back to the most ancient times. The San rock paintings, reflecting spiritual journeys and shamanic rituals, are among the most sophisticated and symbolically rich examples of world art. This heritage needs to be protected and preserved for future generations, so it can continue to inspire and tell the story of humanity's past. A treasure from the sea floor. Archaeologists have discovered 2 sunken ships from the Ming Dynasty in the South China Sea, which have been lying on the seabed for almost 500 years. More than 900 unique artifacts were found on these ships, ranging from copper coins to exquisite porcelain. The Ming Dynasty is known for its artistic achievements and active trade. Chinese ships sailed to India and Europe, where blue and white porcelain was extremely popular. Some ships ended their journey at the bottom of the sea, leaving behind time capsules. In 2022, 2 merchant ships were found at a depth of almost 1.5 kilometers and about 22 kilometers apart from each other. In 2023, researchers began studying and collecting artifacts. Underwater vehicles were used to retrieve objects, and cameras and lasers were used to create 3D maps. From the first ship, 890 items were recovered, including copper coins and porcelain. From the second, 38 artifacts, such as deer antlers and ceramics. The ships may have sailed from Shenzhen Jingdezhen, the center of porcelain export. The items found are vivid examples of Ming Dynasty art. The ships have become important witnesses to trade and cultural exchanges along the maritime Silk Road. Ancient millennia-old axes. In the northern part of Poland, in Koso, treasure hunter Dennis Konkal made a stunning discovery with a metal detector: 5 Bronze Age axes. These artifacts had been lying in the ground for more than 3 millennia. It is worth noting that in Poland, independent excavations with a metal detector are prohibited without special permission. The discovery was promptly reported to authorities. These bronze axes, discovered at a depth of 20 to 30 centimeters, are of particular value since such finds are rare in this area. Archaeologists suggested that the axes may be related to the Baltic culture and are classified as the Tatuski type. It is also suggested that the axes may have been part of a ritual offering, which indicates the complex trade and religious practices of the communities of that time. This discovery is not only historically valuable, but also reveals new aspects of the cultures that lived in the territory of Poland during the Bronze Age. In the near future, the artifacts will be delivered to the Archaeological Museum in Gdansk for more detailed study and preservation. The Curse of the Terracotta Army. The majestic terracotta army is one of the most amazing archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. For a long time, it remained underground, hidden from humanity. This incredible discovery was made by accident by farmers in the 1970s in the city of Xi'an in northwest China. While they were digging a well, their shovels struck fragments of ancient pottery. No one could have imagined that beneath their feet was an entire army of 8,000 clay warriors. However, behind the beauty and grandeur of this archaeological wonder lies a dark secret. Legends say that thousands of workers who built this army were buried alive along with the statues to keep the location of the tomb a secret. Over time, many of those who tried to explore this place, or even just touch the statues, faced misfortunes and troubles. This gave rise to rumors about the curse of the terracotta army. Among the local residents, there is a belief that the spirits of the ancient warriors guard their emperor and do not forgive anyone who touches their statues. All of this makes the story of the terracotta army even more fascinating and mysterious, reminding us that sometimes the past can return to remind us of its presence. And while millions of eyes gaze at the majestic statues of the warriors, somewhere deep inside, the secret guardians continue to stand watch over the ancient mystery. The ancient marble disc. The underwater world of the Mediterranean Sea hides not only colorful fish, but also the secrets of ancient civilizations. Israeli diver David Shalom made an incredible discovery near Palmachim Beach. On the seafloor, he found a marble disc that is 2,400 years old. Only 4 such discs are known in the entire world. Ancient ships were decorated with these discs, which served not only as decoration, but also as protection against the evil eye. These sea amulets looked like eyes, helping sailors navigate the waters and warning them of possible dangers. This disc has a diameter of 20 centimeters. One side is flat, the other is convex. Most importantly, traces of paint have still been preserved on it. The longest burial mound in Europe. Archaeologists in eastern Czechia have found the longest Neolithic burial mound in Europe, about 5,300 years old. The discovery was made in June during roadwork in the Hradec Králové area. The burial mound near the village of Dagelis is about 190 meters long and up to 15 meters wide, and belongs to the funnel beaker culture. Although the above-ground structure has been lost due to agricultural activity, archaeologists have excavated its entrance, identified by the preserved pit and ditch. Inside the burial mound, 2 central burials were found, probably belonging to important individuals, and 28 additional graves. These burials will undergo further laboratory analysis for precise dating. The first central burial included a pit with drainage channels and post holes, as well as a ceramic vessel for offerings. The second burial had no internal structure, but the body was laid on its left side. Archaeologists also found burial items, such as ceramic objects, flint arrowheads, and blades. These findings provide valuable information about the burial practices and cultural traditions of that time. Number 10. Magic circles in the desert. For decades, scientists have puzzled over the origin of circular patches in the Namib Desert, surrounded by grass, which appear and disappear seemingly without any reason. Now it seems the mystery has been solved. These so-called magic circles, with diameters ranging from 2 to 10 meters, form an amazing pattern on the surface of one of the driest places on Earth. For a long time, their origin remained a mystery. There were 2 main theories. One linked the circles to the activity of termites. The second suggested that the grass self-organized to fight drought. Recently, scientists from the University of Göttingen in Germany proposed a new theory. They believe that the circles may form due to extremely rare and irregular rainfall. This causes the grass to grow along the edges of the circles, leaving the center lifeless, because it is the grass roots, which extend to great depths, that allow the plants to survive and thrive in conditions of water scarcity. This discovery not only reveals the mystery of the fairy circles in Namibia, but also demonstrates the amazing ability of nature to self-organize and adapt to changing environmental conditions. Meat mummification. Many have heard of King Tutankhamun, but not many know that he was buried with 48 boxes of beef and poultry. To provide the pharaoh with food in the afterlife, his burial preparations included supplies of food. A new study by archaeologists reveals interesting burial customs of ancient Egypt. It turns out that the meat buried with the pharaohs was mummified by treating it with special balms for preservation. This meat, called meat mummies, was common in Egyptian burials, with the oldest samples dating back more than 5,000 years, and the earliest being 1,600 years ago. The latest study included the analysis of 4 samples of meat mummies, dated between 1,386 and 948 BC, which were found in the tombs of high-ranking individuals. Among the meat delicacies were cattle ribs, veal, and goat meat. Scientists conducted a chemical analysis of the meat and the wrappings used to cover it. They discovered that animal fat was used to coat the wrappings of the goat and the calf, indicating its use as a preservative. However, the cattle ribs contained traces of a complex balm made from fat or oil and resin from the pistacia tree, which was a luxury in ancient Egypt. About 600 years after this balm was used in meat mummification, it began to be used for human mummies as well. The giant sword from Japan. In Japan, there is a unique sword that is believed to have been forged during the Edo period. Measuring 465 centimeters in length and weighing 75 kilograms, it is recognized as the largest Japanese sword in the country. This sword was presented to the Hanaoka Hachiman Shrine in 1859 during a ceremony honoring the imperial monument by supporters who shared the views of imperial patriots like Yoshida Shohin. The sword was forged with the hope that it would ward off evil and demons and could create a bright, pure, and peaceful society. The sword is kept in the treasure house of the Hanaoka Hachiman Shrine and is not usually displayed to the public. However, it can be seen with a special guide by appointment only. A wooden structure 500,000 years old. Archaeologists from China made a remarkable discovery near the Colombo waterfall in South Africa. They discovered traces of life of ancient representatives of the genus Homo, which are about 476,000 years old. The main discovery is fragments of a wooden structure, which indicates that these people not only used wood to make tools, but also for construction. The Colombo Falls site itself is an archaeological treasure, where artifacts from various cultures have been discovered. But this recent discovery has changed our understanding of the way of life of the ancient people there. Dating back to the Middle Pleistocene era, the wooden structures prove that people of that time could lead a settled lifestyle, engaging in construction and woodworking. Scientists have concluded that these structures were part of a dwelling or another large structure. It is possible that they used them not only as shelter, but also for social or religious ceremonies. However, the question of who exactly created this architectural heritage remains open. It could have been Homo erectus, or another representative of the Homo genus. Now, scientists have every reason to believe that ancient representatives of the Homo genus were much more advanced than we previously thought. Ancient Roman supermarket in the ocean. Archaeologists have discovered an ancient Roman supermarket on the Channel Islands off the coast of France, where various goods were traded. Research that began in 2008 led to the discovery of 2 Roman coins, which pointed to this discovery. One coin depicts Caesar as a teenager, and the other shows an emperor who was killed by invading Goths. Alderney Island, the northernmost of the Channel Islands, may have served as a trading post for the Romans. Archaeologist Jason Monahan noted that remains of Roman structures have been found here, including a grotto, which indicates a permanent Roman presence. They could have monitored ships bringing goods from the Mediterranean to France. Archaeologists believe that Roman soldiers lived on the island, controlling trade routes and protecting them from pirates. It's possible that soldiers' families and Roman officials also lived here. In 2017, using electrical equipment, Iron Age burials and parts of a Roman building were discovered on the island, confirming long-term settlement. Excavations showed that the Roman-era building had 3 rooms, a courtyard, a paved area, and a garbage dump where one of the Antoninianus coins was found, dated to 255 AD, equivalent to 2 denarii. In another layer of the building, a bronze coin of the Roman Emperor Valens was found, dated to 364-367 AD, who was killed in the Battle of Adrianople. About 27 meters from the building, the remains of a Roman fort were discovered. Archaeologists believe that many more buildings from the Roman era may be hidden under the sand dunes, creating a mini Pompeii effect. The government is secretly contacting aliens. Recently, there have been reports about UFOs, including from Mexico, where they allegedly found alien remains. It turned out these were just dummies, but rumors about UFOs continue to spread online. Some people believe the planet is controlled by mysterious forces, while others see it as a distraction from real problems. Interest in UFOs was also fueled by former U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who claimed that the American government is connected with a non-human intelligence. According to him, this is kept secret in order to hide top-secret technologies that could provide an advantage in a military conflict. He is calling for the disclosure of information about contact with a UFO of non-human origin. On the other hand, Elon Musk is skeptical about the idea of the existence of aliens in our part of the galaxy. He believes that in the next couple of 100 years, humanity will not be able to travel across vast distances in space, and that aliens are unlikely to be interested in a small planet on the edge of the galaxy. Musk is convinced that human consciousness is a unique phenomenon and that it needs to be preserved. These statements by influential figures fuel interest in the UFO topic, even though they don't provide concrete facts. What's surprising is that people in ancient times were interested in extraterrestrial objects, and they saw UFOs and aliens in everything. As the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire. That's why it's impossible to be 100% sure that there are no extraterrestrial objects or beings on our planet. What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments below the video. Could the US government have any contact with extraterrestrial life nowadays? The Lost Fortress in the Sahara. In the 17th century, a mysterious ancient fortress was discovered among the endless sands of the Sahara. The scientists who studied this discovery were astonished by its complex architecture and unusual technologies, which are believed to have been used in its construction. According to records from that time, the fortress had unique features: massive walls carved from an unknown but incredibly strong material, and complex water systems, the likes of which had never been seen before in the known history of mankind. This led to the theory that it might have been built by representatives of an unknown, highly developed civilization, or even with the help of alien technologies. But before scientists could study and document this amazing discovery in detail, the fortress was once again buried under a layer of sand due to a sudden storm. Since then, its exact location has remained a mystery. Despite numerous expeditions trying to find the fortress, it has never been discovered again. This case attracted the attention of many researchers and mystery enthusiasts. We can only guess what this lost fortress may be hiding. Could it really have been created using technologies that surpass our own? Or is it proof of the existence of a forgotten ancient civilization? Chichen Itza and its mysteries. Chichen Itza was of great importance to the Maya civilization as a political, economic, and religious center. This ancient city, located on the northern Yucatan Peninsula, was an important site for rituals and ceremonies related to the gods and astronomical phenomena. Eric von Daniken, known for his theories about ancient aliens, drew attention to the El Castillo Pyramid, the Temple of Kukulkan, in his research. He suggested that the precision of the architectural and astronomical elements of the pyramid could indicate contact between the Maya and extraterrestrial civilizations. Daniken noted that pyramids, like El Castillo, might have been built using technologies unknown to modern scientists.
Символическое значение светового шоу.
The phenomenon on the steps of the El Castillo Pyramid during the equinox is associated with the worship of the god Kukulkan. On the days of the spring and autumn equinox, Sunlight creates the illusion of a serpent descending the steps of the pyramid. This phenomenon was interpreted as the return of Kukulkan to Earth, which confirmed the importance of Mayan astronomical knowledge and their ability to design architecture that harmonized with the movement of celestial bodies. The Maya believed in the return of the god Kukulkan, the feathered serpent, who symbolized rebirth and renewal. This belief was based on ancient myths and texts, such as the Popol Vuh and the Maya codices, which describe the cyclical nature of time and the return of the gods at certain moments in history. Kukulkan was an important deity associated with wind, water, and fertility, which made his cult especially significant for the agrarian Maya society. Modern archaeologists interpret these findings as evidence of the high level of development of astronomy and engineering among the Maya. They believe that the pyramids and other structures of Chichen Itza were built using complex mathematical calculations and observations of the movements of celestial bodies. Twice as heavy as a whale, the prehistoric cow lived about 40 million years ago in the water. German paleontologists from the State Museum of Natural History in Stuttgart discovered its remains in southern Peru, where there was an ocean in prehistoric times. 13 vertebrae were found, each weighing about 100 kilograms, 4 ribs 1.5 meters long, and a giant femur. The excavation site was a shallow bay that divided the equatorial part of the continent in half. Scientists determined that the remains belonged to a creature that lived about 40 million years ago. The creature weighed approximately 340 tons. This makes it the heaviest animal ever to exist on Earth. Even the giant brontosaurs were lighter. After studying the find, scientists concluded that these huge creatures swam slowly, made shallow dives, and fed on what they found on the bottom: algae, mollusks, and small fish. In their way of life, they resembled sea cows, which were exterminated by humans in the 18th century. Externally, they most likely also resembled sea cows, although in reality, they were ancient whales of the Basilosaurus genus. The oldest leather shoe. The next find was discovered in Kent, United Kingdom. An incredible discovery was made here, a part of a leather shoe that is already 3,000 years old. Possibly the oldest footwear ever found on British soil. By pure chance, a local archaeologist stumbled upon this shoe on the beach. He couldn't even imagine that this was an actual Bronze Age treasure. To confirm his assumption, he sent the find for radiocarbon analysis in Scotland, from where he received confirmation that the shoe really is from the late Bronze Age. As the archaeologist said, this is a real rarity because textile items rarely survive for thousands of years. There's another interesting detail. Our find is the smallest Bronze Age shoe in the world. The sole is only 7 centimeters long. According to scientists, this shoe was worn by a child aged 2 to 3 years old. Now researchers are trying to determine what animal's leather the shoe was made from. And after all the scientific studies, it will be sent to the British Museum. Did you know that until now, the oldest shoe in the UK was considered to be a 2,000-year-old find from the Somerset Quarry? However, now we have a new record. Bosnian pyramids. Mysterious structures have been discovered in Bosnia, which some researchers believe could be ancient constructions about 12,000 years old. These massive formations first attracted the attention of archaeologists and enthusiasts in the early 2000s, when they were pointed out by the Bosnian archaeologist and businessman Semir Osmanagic. He claims that the pyramids were created by an ancient civilization and that they are significantly older than the well-known pyramids in Egypt. The complex includes several pyramidal structures: the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Pyramid of the Dragon. The Pyramid of the Sun is the largest and reaches a height of about 220 meters, making it one of the tallest pyramids in the world. Osmanagic and his team conducted numerous studies, including ground-penetrating radar scans and excavations, claiming to have found traces of ancient tunnels and stone blocks that indicate the pyramids are man-made. However, not all scientists agree with this point of view. Many geologists and archaeologists claim that these structures are natural formations created by geological processes. They point out that the geological structure of the region and the shape of the pyramids can be explained by natural forces, such as erosion and tectonic movements. They remain one of the most mysterious and debated discoveries in modern archaeology. List of Roman centurions. Polish archaeologists have discovered unique papyri with lists of Roman centurions who served in Egypt at the ancient port of Berenice. These rare documents were found along with Italian ceramics, Roman coins, and a special buckle in the ruined office of the centurion. Berenice, located on the Red Sea, was built by Emperor Tiberius after the annexation of Egypt by Rome. The discovered papyri contain letters from centurions with the names Caesus, Licinius, and Petronius. In one of the letters, Petronius asks Licinius about the prices of luxury goods and instructs him to send them with legionaries on camels. These letters provide unique insight into the trade and daily life of Roman soldiers. Artifacts found near the papyrus include Roman coins, fibulae, and pottery from Italy, the Mediterranean, Africa, and India, which indicates the significance of Berenice as a trading port. The papyri were found on the western outskirts of Berenice in a unique animal cemetery, where numerous fragments of texts on pottery were also discovered. These findings shed light on the presence of Roman legionaries in Egypt and the importance of Berenice in the ancient Roman trade network. A ring with the inscription "For Allah." A ring with an Arabic inscription dated to the 9th century was discovered by researchers from Stockholm University in the city of Birka, an ancient Viking trading center in Sweden. This unique precious ornament with a purple stone indicates the Vikings' connections with the Islamic world, which supports the theory of trade between these cultures. Initial assumptions suggested that the stone in the ring was amethyst, but further research showed that it is purple glass, a material that was rare at that time. Scientists believe that such glass could have come from Egypt or Mesopotamia, confirming the idea of trade connections. On the inner side of the ring, traces of silver can be seen, indicating that it was acquired new before it became the property of the Vikings. This artifact confirms the hypothesis of cultural and commercial exchange between Scandinavia and the Arab world, making it one of the most important discoveries of its time. A city in the center of the Sahara. The Central Sahara in Niger is an area that is practically inaccessible to people. Any tourist traveling south from the Mediterranean coast faced a huge number of obstacles. Giant dunes, exhausting heat, and drying winds create a landscape that is almost devoid of life. But those who venture into the depths of the Great Desert are in for a surprise. Surrounded by sandy canyons on a lonely plateau lie the ruins of the massive fortress city of Jado. These ruins, which are between 800 and 1,000 years old, are a mystery. The city emerged when this part of the desert was much wetter and more fertile. Little is known about the people who lived here, and who built this city remains unknown. The fortress city of Jado is a ksar, a typical North African fortified settlement. Such settlements usually consist of residential buildings constructed around a central storehouse for provisions, with an emphasis on defensive functions. Ksars like Jado were built from palm trunks covered with adobe mixture, hardened by desert winds to the strength of metal. What sets Jado apart from most similar ksars is its incredible size. The colossal fortress towers over the desert, making the rest of the landscape seem insignificant. The Kanuri people, who inhabit the desert in the center of the Sahara, were the last known inhabitants of this place. It is possible that the city was inherited by them from an older culture, about which no records have survived. The turning point that likely forced the Kanuri to leave Jado was probably the depletion of drinking water. As the green landscape turned into a desert, the water became brackish, and the environment too harsh for survival. People lived on the Jado Plateau for about 60,000 years, leaving behind rock paintings and other evidence of their presence. Sheep and goats were raised here as early as 7000 BC, and cattle appeared around 3500 BC. A perfect drawing found in the Air Mountains dates back to about 5500 to 4,500 years ago. They depict a world with dense vegetation and abundant animals, completely unlike the modern landscape. Today, reaching the once great city is very difficult. This part of the world is unstable, and the tribes inhabiting the area are constantly fighting for limited resources. The Kanuri now live in the neighboring desert village of Chirfa, but every year they return to their ancestral land to harvest dates. Strangely, the date palms continue to bear fruit. The Kanuri are a remnant of the ancient Kanem civilization, which ruled Central Sahara from 700 to 1300 AD. The origins of this empire are shrouded in mystery, and it is unknown whether Jado was founded during this period or even earlier. If the Kanem built Jado, then excavations could reveal a lot about this culture. But if they inherited it, perhaps someday it will be possible to discover something else, hidden from human eyes and guarded by the desert, waiting to reveal all its secrets. And you can discover even more secrets of the ancient world on our channel. The mysteries of ancient Egypt, the disappearance of the Maya, and the history of ancient China await you in our new videos. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Goodbye, everyone.